Hi, it's Hazel. Welcome to my channel and welcome to day 87 of the 100-day challenge. This is the second video I'm shooting today, and it's also very smoky. So I hope that my voice hangs in there. Anyone who's ever been to a thrift store knows that you can quite often find packages of, well, I think typically the brand is Avery, office stationery. So people, buy something, use one or two sheets, and then they're donating the rest. So I have obviously more choices, more selection of this. This one, excuse me, this one was the one that was the handiest. And this is perhaps the one that is maybe most useful and most versatile for our purposes. And it's the 4 by 1.5 inch. Oh, it says laser. The stock number is 05159. I just realized that it says laser. Now, I don't have a laser printer, but I printed a few sheets before starting this video. So I guess together we'll take a look at them and see how they turned out. So basically what I wanted to do today was share a few ideas as to how these things can be used in the projects that we do. So I also had, like I said, some other types of sizes or, specifications. The ones that are really quite strange are the CD ones. And I'll even show you some of those. Okay, so what I did was I had 5 sticker sheets. Now, some of these are going to be the size I'm talking about here, 4 by 1.5. Some are going to be other things, and some are going to be, well, I didn't just freshly print a CD one, but I have done that in the past. So let's include that in this little show and tell. And this may not, well, this definitely is not an Avery type sticker because it's just, well, it must be a lot older. It's just these things with perforations, and hopefully you can see that they've got a gummed back. Now, I don't know, to be honest, how sticky or not they are, but with most things, we don't really trust the glue anyway, so that won't be a hardship. So it would appear that I used this, the gummed sticker, and you can tell by the way it kind of went weird at the beginning here, or at the end, probably the beginning, that it maybe didn't really know how to grab it. So it looked, and even though it's not, what did I do here? I probably taped this down to a piece. Yes, I used the old double up the tape thing, Trickeruno, to attach this sheet to that cardstock, something with a bit of body. So I'm going to peel this off. And so now what I've got is, and this was a master board of mine. This is some hard anger embroidery, and this is some other doilies and some music and so on. So let's assume that those aren't very good and probably go in the scrap collage thing. So you can see that depending how and where a person folds and separates this, you end up with a little kind of a random piece of design, background, whatever. And this is, before I go any further, this is why I like the 4 by 1.5 inch size. Let me show you. Where did I put them? These are, well, okay, I'll show you them even though it's a combination of processes. Okay, this first bunch, these are the 4 by 1.5 inch. I feel like I'm dealing cards. Were ones where I stamped, I'm sure that's what I did. Or is it paper? God, don't remember anymore. I did these a long time ago. It feels, it kind of feels like, okay, so what I did apparently is stencil on a sticker sheet and then did mini collages. So at the time you need to use them, of course, you just find where the sticker ends and trim around them. I think those look great. Put those aside. Now these, oh, here's another one. There were 5, I guess. Here is another technique, and this is basically stamping and stenciling. So I've got these odd numbers for some reason. Anyway, so there are 7 of those. So you might recognize this as, it's one of the Tim Holtz, those narrow stencils, and I'll show a few of those later. Plus some additional ones that some additional stencils that I've obviously used. And I also see that I have some metallic on the paper, so it looks like I would have sprayed the sticker sheet. So I guess the point of this, or what it appears from these samples that I'm showing you, is you can basically treat your sticker sheet as you would any other piece of paper. So if you want to stamp, stamp. If you want to stencil, stencil. If you want to spray, spray. If you want to, do everything, do it. And then you'll end up with these very uniform, pre-rounded corners. These cute little finished pieces. Now, probably you don't have this sort of a product, so, but again, I'll show you the ones I printed today. Now, at the risk of a total turn-off, now you can I hope you can see that this is not a normal sticker sheet. So this was CD labels. So if you remember what those CD things were like, so I had done a bunch of them, and I thought, well, okay, can I salvage them, or is it a waste of time? So you're going to see some oddball things here. Of course, there were the circles that were around the hole on a CD, or that center spool type thing that, sits in your machine. Then, of course, there are the donut holes. So there are the little donut holes. Now, I think that's kind of cute. And this, what I had printed on this was my, the kit, I hope it's in my Etsy store, the kit that I made using stamps that I had carved on my own. And there was a video about carving your own stamps. So here is more of the same. This time I left the donut holes intact. Now you can see that there's some place, oh no, that might have been forget that. I was going to say where it didn't print, but that's the original print, the original digital is like that. So I'll just leave these where you can see them for a while. This is really nice. I love this particular carved stamp. Left the donut holes intact sort of have this cascading kind of thing going on. Then there were some narrow little strips along the edges of those pages. So I just arranged them like so. Again, pretty attractive. Then, here I cut out the largest circle. So this would have been the cover for the CD. Now, I don't know if you can see, but right here, or did I might have attached glue. Where's my little pokey thing? Whoopsie. There it is. Now, I don't know if I glued this or not, but right here is the donut. And right here is a donut hole. So on a large sticker like this, you could end up with that circle open or that circle open if you choose to. And of course, the same thing here. So, you know, these may, I don't know how you feel about circles. I know sometimes that's not my first choice. But there's nothing to say that this can't be torn down and used in whatever shape that you want it to. So this one, okay, this kind of maybe shows the parts even better. So this was some Cyrillic handwriting. I think this might have been song lyrics or something. I didn't glue this. I mean, I didn't stick this down very well, did I? So here's the big circle. The donut is, I hope I wasn't too far away. I mean, too far that away. The big CD, this part here, which is the donut, there's the little hole there. Here's another donut. This is, you know, part of the donut and part of this probably would be near the bottom of the page, the sticker page. And then here's the narrow strip, because you can see that these were the strips that I got like so. So I think it is possible to make some usable stuff out of that. Now, because I don't really have anything ready to go, I'm probably not going to lift this up, but you can see that there's a circle. There's going to be this part beside it that is still usable. So, you know, it is a fair bit of work with this particular sticker design. But if that's what you have, and if you've got it cheap as can be, you may want to put in the effort to do it. Now, all of these Avery sticker sheets, or whatever the company is, have an arrow, you know, which way is up. And for most things, that would probably matter. For our purposes, it doesn't. You just have to make sure that, and you might want to test it. And I know that I've made enough mistakes printing, especially wedding ceremonies that I do for couples. So I usually do that on some kind of specialty paper. And of course, if you make enough mistakes, then you make yourself a little note that you tape to your printer. So mine says, on specialty paper, printed side down in the tray, top of the page in. So if I was approaching my printer, I would, so we'll pretend this is the specialty paper, face down, this end in, because I guess it will pull it out this way. I mean, it'll go around the rollers this way. So I printed a few of these just a while ago. And as I said, I don't have a laser printer. So I think they turned out fine. Now this particular document is in my French grunge kit. And this is, the original is it's like almost like tissue paper. And it's, I guess it was kind of like a carbon copy from back in the day. So to read it, you're looking at sort of the back side of the page. You can see that the page number 500 is backwards. But in order to make this read right, that's kind of how you have to do it, and that's how I scanned it. So the number on this one is 5,200. Oh, you know what? Excuse me. I bet you this is a kit for doing tabs because it says spine. So I think, sometimes when you get, if you get say a board meeting package in a binder, or well, whatever, a presentation in a binder, there will be a message or a title printed down the spine, and then I'll just gently lift one of these to show you what these stickers will look like. Okay, maybe that wasn't a great place. Let's pick one where the print is a little more dense. So this is what you would end up with a sticker. Now, I did have, just about had a crash. So this is just a card that was printed, or covered with some ledger paper. Maybe this would be better on music. So I have a few of those that I just found when I cleaned my desk. Oh, look at that. Pretty well perfect. Feels pretty sticky, but I don't know. We probably don't want to take a chance. So, and of course, I'm not going to show you how to glue things down, except in this one case where I'm going to show you how to glue things down. I just wanted you to see basically the size we end up with here. And of course, now that I have glue on it, I thought to myself, oh, I should tear one of these edges rather than, excuse me, whoops, rather than, but then I'd end up losing some of that print. We'll just forget it. If you wanted to have an edge other than a straight edge, of course you would tear it. So you can see that could be the beginning of a collage. Now on the side here, what have we got here? Oh, so this is like a second spine I get, but yes, I don't see why that Avery word is on there. Well, let's just take this part with the guy's signature. And this time, maybe we want to tear it. And again, because it's quite narrow, I'd say that's maybe 5/8 of an inch. We probably don't want to tear top and bottom because there won't be much left of the sticker. And of course, then you'd keep on collaging and building as you go. Okay, so there's that one. Excuse me. This one is, this is another strange one. Okay, so this one is $51.98. So even before CDs, or even before CDs, there were cassettes. So this is a cassette label. And this kit is from my Art Nouveau. So you can see that this is what we would get. And this thing that's sort of like the shape of a Band-Aid. I don't know that I want to really stick this down to anything at this point, But again, it is totally there and ready for your use. And of course, there is the shape that they really sold, you know, the specific shape that they sold to the customer. But then there would also be the areas around it. So, for instance, down the middle here would be this long strip. So again, well, maybe let's put some of that on here, just to show that you can mix and match some of this. I guess the nice part about this too, I don't think we need those two little pointy things there. The nice thing, oh, there's more of them. Well, let me tear right about there. So, you know, it's almost like a roll of the dice or something as to what part you're going to get. It's like those people who, oh, I'm forgetting to put glue on, but I better do it. Especially if I keep lifting it and removing the glue, the stickiness. It's like those people that cut their master boards from the back side so that they are surprised. Well, this is equally surprising. And that's why I didn't want to do it ahead of time. I thought, well, okay, I can be surprised along with you guys. So let's take more of that. Again, we'll just tear right there rather than me trimming those little points off. Isn't it great when you can find any reason whatsoever to collage? Maybe I should trim these off. Whoops, not very straight. So again, if you've avoided buying these things in a thrift store, you might want to look at them a second time. Or maybe you've just been buying them to use for the purpose in which they're intended, as address labels. But now you have a second or third or fourth use for them. Again, this, you know, this is pretty random the way I'm putting this down because I don't have any other pieces of anything to really use at this point. Again, it's just to give you some ideas. Do we want to use a little band-aid? A little band-aid shape? I might have to pull some more of that copy thing off. It's really crazy, but I hate to cover up the music. And I really especially like the pages that are just dense with markings. Okay, so that's that one. This one is from one of my doily kits, and this is, what is this? 5059. Is that the same as? Oh no, I think this is going to just be yeah, this is going to be the traditional one like that. Now, pretty well, do I have, I must have some book page. Sorry for this throat, but honestly, that smoke is kind of making me sick. So this is really old paper. Let's just peel one of these off. And maybe let's tear it a bit before just making it so regular. And of course, if you wanted to ink it or something, Well, not it, or something. If you wanted to ink it, now would be the time to do it. See? Let's just pretend that we wanted to ink it. This was one of many doilies that I scanned early on when I was trying to figure out how to do digitals. And it is surprising kind of how, can I do this over here? How some of these things I was just kind of so naive about. Like, I don't know that I was ever that, what's the word? I don't even know what the word is. I'm going to do a second one just to have you see how this is shaping up. So for instance, on this one, if I would have printed it exactly as I scanned it, it would not have filled this page. Now, was that operator error when I was scanning it? Did I not know any better? Was it an oversight? Like, who knows? Now I know enough to say print to fill page or print entire image. And then you get the overall design, you know, and it certainly didn't distort anything. So I guess I'm just admitting my naivete so that if there are beginners listening who are maybe dazed and confused about using digitals, welcome to welcome to the company. Welcome to my world. And you know, essentially it took forever also to have somebody, or to me, well, I don't want to blame anyone. It took forever to figure out that, hey, if you don't have maybe all the tech skills to do adjustments on your own, one way to certainly resize things is to print multiples of the same thing on one page. And that's where you can choose 2, 4, 2, 4, 6, 9, and probably on and on and on. So of course, that gives more options as well. I remember early on, like peonies are one of my favorite flowers, and I have some peony bushes, and actually one is budded out already, and I should just tell you about that particular bush. It was one that I planted in a flower bed here by the house, I'd say 35 years ago. And it bloomed. It's one of the old-fashioned ones, so, you know, heavy, big blossoms. And, oh, I forgot to tear this side. And, you know, kind of the stems are almost too weak to hold them up, those big flower heads. So there's a lot of drooping going on. Anyway, you can tell it's an old variety because I've had it that long. So then, a few years back when we started doing our addition, of course, that flower bed was destroyed. You know, there was heavy equipment going over it. There were piles of soil. There were piles of gravel. There was construction equipment. Would you believe, after all of that, that thing emerged from the rubble, so to speak? And I thought, I don't care what is happening landscaping-wise. That girl deserves to keep on living. And she is. Anyway, roundabout way to tell you that I had bought from somebody, I bought a peony digital kit. And so they were just these sort of, individual flowers. So again, naive, I printed them as I got them. Well, what are you going to do with a peony head this big and some leaves down here? Like, that's not a very usable format. And of course, it was all portrait as well. So now, if I were to print, and of course I had to print every single one. I probably did two because, you know, if one, like, blah, 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 blah. Now, if I were to do it, I would probably print at minimum 2 to a page and perhaps smaller, or I mean more to a page. Okay, what have we here? Oh, this is from these two. I can't tell you how much I love this. These two are from my Textures 101 digital kit. I thought that there were probably people out there who were starting out who would have liked just some different backgrounds. Maybe they didn't know how to coffee or tea dye or didn't want to go through that effort. Maybe they didn't own a gel plate and didn't want to create backgrounds that way. So anyway, these are a couple of those. Now, what have we got here? This may be a 4 by 1.5 as well. Okay, so I'm not going to do anything because we've seen enough of that. And I should check the number instead of peeling. 5199. 519. Okay, so this is also going to be the why is this one 5159? Okay, I better check this one just to be sure what it is. Huh. Well, why? Okay, what size is this? Not that it matters. Obviously, you're going to use 3 by 2, 3 by 1 7/8. Obviously, you're going to use whatever you have. It doesn't matter what size mine is. But that's kind of strange. Oh, there's something. Okay, so there's a different size. Okay, enough about that. So these are the, excuse me, the 4 by 1.5. So what else can we do? Well, let me just show you one other thing. And of course, you probably know how to stencil too, because you're not waiting for to have me tell you that. But I want to show you something. Just dropped something. I was going through some of the stencils again that I bought early on before I knew what the heck I was doing. The 12 by 12 ones, sometimes they're very thick, rigid plastic. I think those are probably the Fiskars ones. These, I think, might be Creative Memories, if I'm not mistaken. Is that what CM stands for? So I thought to myself, I don't use those. I don't want to store them. Why don't I just cut off the parts that I actually might use someday? So that was on one sheet. That's obviously related to it. Here's a swirly one. Here's a floral. This is sort of, I don't know what that is. All of them, virtually, had these things for making lines. So I saved a couple of those. I think I showed you that one. And then here's another swirly one. So I just did this the other day. Let me take a couple of these and just, I haven't tried them out yet to see how they, oh, these guys are from I have, oh, I thought I had quite a clever name on that kid. Mind you, sometimes clever doesn't help in search engines. What the heck does it say? Something about mail order catalog. M-A-L-E or M-I-I? M-A-I-L. Anyway, a bunch of men's outfits that you could have ordered from a catalog. Okay, so I'm just going to, I'm so sorry, guys. I'm going to have my brushes here and most of my colors of, so maybe let's pick something like fired brick. It'll show up well. And I would think that this, maybe I should have picked one whose brush I knew for sure. I don't know if this is it or not, but let's try it anyway. So the randomness, I think, of using the stencil is what is going to be most, whoa, try not to move it also, is what's going to be most effective. And again, because of the nature of this paper and the fact that it's going to be separated, it is kind of impossible to know exactly what part of the design you're going to get. Now, I don't particularly like what I did on the edge there, so I would have to be a little more careful. But let's maybe run it a bit the other way. If I use it this way, then I've got the wider thing there that will hopefully prevent me from running amok. You never want to run amok, guys, if you can help it. And this is looking pretty regular at this point, but we're not going to panic just yet because, again, we don't know what's going to happen when this gets separated into its parts. Well, since I did one at an angle, I might as well do a bit more. Otherwise, it looks like, oh, she lost her bearings. And again, now that I'm trying these out, if I think, oh, well, that's not very, I'm not so thrilled about that, then I can chuck it out or donate it or whatever. Okay, so maybe let's try ground espresso. So I just have my one universal brown brush. And maybe let's try this swirly one. Or do we want this one? Maybe we'll get a little more bang for our buck with this one. I hope this is moist enough to do some good. And we probably want to do a bit of overlap on this. And again, you know, your decision as to how much, how precise, how much detail you want. Do you want it kind of a bit blurry and a bit hit and miss? Or do you want it to be absolutely perfect? I have to say that because this is a thicker plastic, it does take a bit of effort to get right down there. But again, nobody is going to kind of know that because it is what it is, and that could have been like creator choice. So we'll stop with that. Maybe we'll add a few little swirls. I'm going to use wild honey. And I did tie little embroidery flosses on these handles to try to help. So this would be like the golden or the wild honey brush, just to try to keep things somewhat organized. And then on another one, I should check the time though. I don't know how long I've been going on about this. These are all the same size. Oh, see, I could also use that. Well, let's do at least another one of these. And then try a different the double one. Okay, we'll do this and then we'll quit. I'm not saying that it's done, but we're going to quit anyway because how fascinating can this be, watching this? Once you understand that you should probably, well, I'm not prescribing, I'm just saying that a technique you might want to consider is having the design bleed off the edge of the paper, overlap, blah, blah, blah. This is not very thrilling at this point, but perhaps it can be salvaged using other stamps or whatever. There's that, but maybe I should try some of this. Do you see how I just keep changing my mind? I was going to move on to something else. Do we have to do a little bit of candied apple? I wonder if this is my red one. I might need to start a red brush. Every time I saw these brushes at Dollar Tree, I would buy them. They were so cheap. And I think I've only broken the handle on one. Okay, that maybe helps a bit. Yeah, that seems to be adding some, or filling in a lot of the white space and adding a new dimension. Oh, I was talking about techniques. The other thing is, you may notice, you can tell by where the marks are here, I'm sort of randomly using the stencil. I'm not doing a whole bunch of precision moves that make it look as though, she used it exactly as it was made. Like, that doesn't look that natural. This is gathered twigs. Let's see what happens if we add a few of that, because right now the brown is kind of sitting there all by itself. And again, boy, why does it seem so hard to get down there? I was using, shouldn't matter which side I'm using. Maybe this one is a bit dry or something. I'm sure having to work hard to get anything on there. Anyway, I'm stopping there. And then the final thing that I wanted to show, Oh, I was going to show you some other stencils. And this is just, I have this on a kind of a big ring. Would you believe that this is a very cheap phone case that I bought? Didn't fit my phone. Bought it solely with the intention of using it as a stencil. And again, because there's some thickness there, it's not always the easiest thing to work with, but I still like it. This is some Punchinella, or Nello, part of a placemat. I don't know what this is, but I use it. These are also some other bits that I just cut off some of those old-timey stencils. But anyway, these were some of those, Tim Holtz ones that are really good also for making. So this Gothic one here is the one I would have used on these. So so that's the stencil, the whole stencil thing. Now, you may, let's see, yes, that video will show up before this one does. So another thing that I had placed another order, my second order, to Temu, and I got a bunch of stamps because, of course, I sorely needed more stamps. So and what I did was I used these stamps in the course of one of these 100-day videos, kind of killing two birds with one stone, trying out the stamps as well as whatever the project was. And now my mind has left me. So again, with the digitals that I used, and now basically with the stamps I'm proposing using, I'm looking more at background type stamps as opposed to where did I put that? Oh, I guess we'll have to use these inks. Boy, that vintage photo is probably not that juicy either. Anyway, what I was saying was, at this stage of the game, when you've got this bare white paper, sticker paper, you're kind of more creating that first level. That background. Do I have a brayer handy? As opposed to creating a focal point. Oh, that looks good. So we'll do a few more of these, and then maybe I'll put Da Vinci's Man on there. And again, I took quite a bit of effort inking that up, but it doesn't have to be perfect. In fact, it might be better if it was a little more random, a little more patchy. So maybe fingers, like a more broken up design. Again, personal choice. So because I made that so solid there, that's obviously quite a bit different than that. And you may be able to see where the stickers actually are. So let's put that one aside for the moment and just grab this guy. I brought a couple of blocks, but they're not big enough for... That's probably asking for trouble. Oh, I also forgot to put my little doohickey padding under there. So let's maybe use this blueprint sketch. I'm running out of space here. I hope you guys can see something. But again, unless you haven't done any stamping, you probably know how to do this. So if you don't see it, you can hear it happening, and you have your own life experience having done it. Oh my God. So this is probably going to be a little bit fuzzy. Oh, yeah, fuzzy is right. Okay, the stamp is a lot better than what that shows. That was, again, me cutting a corner here by not getting the right size block. Again, I'm doing it very kind of regular, but there's no need for that. So again, you just keep stamping as long, to your heart's content until you get the look you want. And like I showed you when I did the ones that I had run through the printer, it will be a surprise as to what you get. So with that, I will stop. I will go have something for my throat. And I encourage you to start using some of these sticker labels that are in your stash, I'm sure. Anyway, okay guys, we shall see you again tomorrow. Bye.